My name is Pete, and welcome to my garage. Okay, so as you can see, we've got our 525, or I guess our 2.5 liter inline 6 BMW engine that my son Owen here is going to be helping me with. Now, normally I think I would just probably drop the entire powertrain out the bottom, especially since I've got the lift here. However, I'm thinking I'm also going to be making motor mounts and a set of headers for it. So I should probably just take apart the front end. Plus I got to put the heat exchanger up there and everything. And if you notice, my front bumper is not in very good shape. You can see it's kind of jacked up. And over there hanging on the wall, I've got an M5 style bumper for it. I'm going to be taking the front end of this apart, pulling the engine and the transmission out. We'll scrap the catalytic converters and the exhaust, and we'll get started. Let's go. All right, first things first, the air box has got to come out. Yeah, that ain't one right. Not where we're going. We don't have to put it back together. Well, not with this stuff. All right, here goes our air box. Mass air meter. I guess I need to go disconnect the battery too. Oh my goodness, look how dirty I'm getting already.
Here you can see I'm removing the cabin filter boxes. There's one on each side, and this allows me access to the brake booster on the driver's side, and on the passenger side it is covering up the electronics box where the DME and the transmission control module and all the electrical connectors are.
Okay, since I'm planning on taking the engine out with the wiring harness and everything still attached, I need to disconnect my wiring harnesses and everything from my electrical box right here. All right, let's see. Remove the little tabs. And whenever I put my LS motor in, I'm going to wire it just in the exact same way that this is. So it's nice, clean installation. I want to try to utilize as much of the factory fuse block as I can. Okay. So now these seals can pop up.
Now I thought this was weird that there are so many electrical connections underneath this cover on the electronics box. On my E36, everything pretty much unplugged from one or two connectors. This one, there's at least 10 connectors, so it's kind of crazy. But I do want to reuse a lot of this stuff to make it plug and play with my GM control modules.
All right, now that I have all of my wiring disconnected from my electrical box over there, the engine's almost disconnected from the rest of the car other than the cooling system and the AC. So I'm trying to keep it all organized and everything, so when I go back together I'll know, and I might reuse some of these connections on mine I don't know, I need to see how it's all going to lay out with the harness and what some of those connections are. I've already recovered the refrigerant from this thing, so I can just disconnect the AC lines. My AC lines, little 6mm, and I think I might be able to reuse these. They kind of look like the same connections that are on my GM compressor. So I might get lucky. I don't know. We'll have to see. And the suction line. Alright, so I got my discharge and suction lines disconnected at the compressor. Now, this one definitely is not going to fit my GM compressor, I can tell you that. That is a huge suction line. Alright, I got my brake booster hose over here that I got to disconnect. Alright, this leaky son of a gun right here, I'm going to have to get this thing out of there and get something in there that doesn't leak so bad. So, I guess I need to pull the exhaust off. Obviously, I need to get some new tires. But that's going to be pretty obvious once I get some real power to it. Inside of this one's just toast. Pretty bad. So, new tires, new engine, transmission. Not quite sure what I'm going to do about the rear diff yet. I don't know. I might keep the stock one, see how it lasts. It's probably not going to last long. Who knows? Maybe we'll upgrade it to a 488, make some bracketry or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes with this differential. Let's get the exhaust out of here.
So this vehicle is 18 years old, and as you can imagine, the exhaust nuts did not want to come off very easily. So it took a little bit of penetrant and stuck bolts in the socket and all sorts of stuff. So it was a lot of fun trying to get that off. However, once the exhaust is off, then it opens up access to the drive shaft.
Alright, got the exhaust down. I'll have to chop that thing up and scrap it. Now I got to get this off. This thing had a hell of a vibration. I was going to dyno this before I did this swap, just to show before and after. However, it had a hell of a vibration because this guibo joint is gone, as you can see. So I didn't want to put it on a dyno. It felt like that was a little irresponsible. The tranny mounts are a little, ooh, wow. The rubber on those is just toast. It's probably partly what ruined that, but that's okay. We're replacing it. Now time to get the drive shaft disconnected. So I'll have to undo these, I guess they're 8s. Drop that shield off, undo my guibo joints here, and also my joint here, my CV joint at the very back of the rear differential. Take my drive shaft out. All right, so as you can see, I've got the front bumper and the radiator support, fan shroud, bumper, all that off. And that's going to give me so much room to get in here to make my changes and build the headers and mounts and everything and get the motor out. Plus, I think I'm going to change out the radiator possibly to another style, like an aftermarket one, and then I got to put a heat exchanger up here in the front, and I think I'm going to get rid of the auxiliary fan here and just run an electric fan on the inside of that, because the LS motor is going to be a little bit shorter than this inline six. If you think about it, this engine is 6 cylinders deep or long, whereas a V8's only 4 cylinders deep. Granted, they're a little bit bigger each, but you know, it should give me a little bit more room. Plus, the LS engine is pretty compact. However, I do have a supercharger that I'm going to do, so that's going to space my pulleys out a little further. So I'm going to have to see how much room I have. And maybe I won't have much. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to take off this entire, I guess, cooling system, unit all as one piece. The nice thing is the power steering cooler and the transmission cooler. It's got a pretty decent transmission cooler on the inside of this. They're all part of this. They're separate, but they're all kind of tucked in here. It's a really nice kind of setup. So I think I can utilize the tranny cooler on that with my transmission. Even though I am going to have a stall, it should still be pretty good because it looks like a decent sized cooler. I don't think I'm going to run into any problems. I'm obviously going to have to clean up my condenser here. I bet my AC will work a lot better. You can see the pile of stuff that was caught in there, and it was pretty much clogging up half of my condenser. So yeah, this will work a lot better once I get it set up the way I want. All right, so I've got the radiator and condenser and the oil, or I guess the power steering cooler and the transmission cooler out. Now I'm down to the engine. Pretty much from here, it's going to be pretty simple. Just got a couple of connections. I guess I got the big power wire. I got a ground wire down here that I have to disconnect. Disconnect the motor mounts. I guess this AC wire right here. All right, as you can see here, the clearance of the steering rack to the bottom of the oil pan is very tight, so probably 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. And that's what I'm going to try to set my new oil pan, or set my oil pan at, to try to mimic that whenever I put my engine in. All right, it is now time to get the old junk out.
As you can see, removing the engine and transmission all as one is a little bit difficult just because of the sheer size of the unit. But, you know, given the hood clearance and everything and having the front of the car taken apart, it gives you a lot of access to get it taken out. Stay tuned for next time, where I'm going to put together the LS motor that you saw in the last video and get it ready to put in this car. Make sure you like and subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you.